Hello, everyone. Welcome back to St. Louis Teens, and welcome back to our series on Champions for Teens, which features lawmakers and leaders working with teens in their community. Today, we are here with Mayor Michelle Harris, who is the mayor of the city of Clayton in Missouri. Mayor Harris, you are actively involved with high school students in Clayton throughout the mayor's Youth Advisory Council and your mentorship. We thank you so much for encouraging teens to be active citizens and for your service. Mayor Harris, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what inspired you to go into public service, and how has your journey been like?
Well, thank you, Shri. Thank you so much for your kind words. And I'm so happy to be talking to you because I love talking to young folks and getting them maybe inspired a little to get involved with their local communities. I got involved in community service, really is what I would call it, or local politics. Really, I got my start when my kids were in school. So I got involved with the school, participating in events, becoming part of the parent teachers organizations. And then I got to know a lot of parents. And one thing kind of led to another. And so at some point when they were probably in middle school, my neighbors came to me and asked me if I would run for local office, run for alderman. And that's the same thing as being a city council member. So I agreed. And at the time, there was some little controversy going on here in Clayton, and someone had dropped out. So I ran on a write-in ticket. I was a write-in candidate. And at that time, that was before computer voting. And so my name had to be written in on the sleeve of the ballot. So the ballot went into this, sort of sleeve thing. And then they had to write my name on the outside of it and spell it right, actually. So I passed out stickers at the polls with my name on it. So that made that easy. But anyway, I did win. And I'm one of probably, I think it's like 3 or 4 write-in victories in the history of the state of Missouri. So that's kind of cool. Little cool side story. But I've enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I think you mentioned, how has it been? It's been sort of a wild ride. I was an alderman during the recession of 2008 and 2009. And then things came back, and now there's been, of course, the pandemic and the economic downturn as a result of that. So there's a lot, things are up and down, but there's always something new. There's always a new challenge, and there's always a lot to learn. And so I do love it.
And I know it can be difficult, but if you had to pick one part of your job that would be your favorite, what would it be?
Absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite part of the job is bringing good people together to do great things. That is it. That is why we get involved in our communities, and collaborating and working with others and listening to the concerns of the community is really the key to doing a good job.
And I know that you talk about collaboration and bringing good people together. You work a lot with teens in your community. So what inspired you to work with teens in your community, and what is one of the most memorable moments of your interaction with the teens that you've worked with?
Well, I have to say that my own kids really inspired me. I got so much enjoyment out of them, and also of working in the schools when they were in school. I jumped at the chance to work on this, what we have in Clayton, this Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. So I think you probably know, but Clayton High School, and I think actually neighboring schools can participate if we have openings. They kind of form a group of about a dozen students who are interested, and we go through sort of a curriculum. It's not really a curriculum, but we go through a process each year of having them get behind the scenes with city government, learn about how city government works, and usually doing a project of their own, which I help them organize, and it's usually to the benefit of the community. So it's usually sustainability related or some other thing. So that's all great. I think, the highlight this past year was really just it was really with the fire department and that personnel, and where the kids picked one of their representatives to actually suit up and put on the 60 pounds worth of equipment that firefighters have to wear, and really get a picture of how it feels to have to do that job, go upstairs in the heat, whatever it is. So that was probably the highlight this year. But it's just great to watch them learn about local government and to watch them work as a team, which I think is really important for life skills.
So I know that you have done an effective job, and Clayton has done an effective job in involving the youth and involving teenagers. How do you think that more policymakers, leaders, and members of Congress can build more interactions with teens in their community and have rich and meaningful partnerships with them?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. I think you have to go where teens are. So you got to go to the schools or you got to go to other places where they are. Whether you can, and in COVID, it's a little bit tough, I admit, but whether you can gather them around you and really try to inspire them to get involved. We need more young people getting involved in local communities because you're the ones that are going to have the ideas for the future. And it's good for you to get the experience and find out how things work and get involved now so that when the time comes, you can really make a valuable contribution. I think always this Mayor's Youth Advisory Council has worked out really well. So it could be done with it doesn't have to be done through school. It could be done in another way, but creating advisory groups among different age groups would be a great way to get the input and involvement of teens.
Now, with the onset of COVID-19, the pandemic has posed unprecedented challenges to our society and to our leaders. In order for a city to manage the pandemic effectively, not only does the city government need to manage its own city, but also needs to work well in conjunction with other levels of government. And Mayor Harris, you have done a great job in governing Clayton through the COVID-19 pandemic in an efficient manner. So, what have been your keys to success during these times?
Well, I think the main key is to work closely with the local health agency. In our case, it's the St. Louis County Health Department. So we follow very closely their research and their guidelines and what they're recommending. I think they've done a really good job. So we've followed that by and large. It is possible for us to create even more strict standards beyond what they do, but up to now anyway, we've found that they have kept up with the science in our estimation and have issued really appropriate guidelines. The the balance here is really about trying to make businesses or keep businesses whole while things are kind of in a shutdown mode or semi-shutdown mode. So we've tried really hard to work with our businesses to give them opportunities that normally we wouldn't do. We've really relaxed outdoor dining, for example, and we're happy to have them put tables in the street or wherever they need to keep their business going. I think the other thing is that just to have good communication. So when the county puts out, new guidelines, we as a city work really hard to make sure all of our residents understand the guidelines and know about them. So we use all of our communication vehicles, email, mail, and social media for that. So I think, keeping close tabs on the guidelines, communicating that to your constituents, and promoting local businesses so that they are alive after the pandemic are some of the most important things about this.
And looking forward into the future, in your opinion, what is the post-pandemic outlook looking, especially for teens, be it in terms of education, jobs, or the economy? In your opinion, what is the outlook right now, and how can we be more prepared?
Well, that depends on where you are in your years of schooling. If you're a senior in high school, got a lot more challenges to try to figure out than someone who's a freshman, because hopefully by that time the pandemic will be over, we'll have a vaccine, et cetera. So I think the thing is to keep your options open, be flexible on how you're going to get your schooling. Make sure that wherever you go wherever you decide to go to college, for example, has a really reputable online program. A lot of colleges are doing online, but it isn't always as effective as you want it to be. So you got to look at that aspect as well as the other aspects that you would be using to evaluate your schooling. I think if and just while you're still in high school, what you've got to do is kind of build on your experience so that you can build up your experiences. That's what I would suggest. The idea that you have time, because I think a lot of people have a little extra time right now because they're doing Zooms instead of going to things, and try to read up on things, read the paper, find out what's going on in our community. There's a lot going on right now, obviously, with the pandemic, with protests, with all kinds of other stuff that you can get up to speed on and maybe even get involved in. I think, just I'm hoping, like everyone, that once the pandemic is over, the economy will come back to some reasonable level, and that will afford opportunities for those who are prepared to find jobs, either internships, jobs, or get back into the whole college drill, and really take off from there. So it's about using your time wisely during this time.
Mayor Harris, thank you so much for investing your time and resources in our teens and the value they bring to our country and our future. Clayton is one of the most developed and has one of the best education systems in not just the St. Louis city, but throughout the state. So thank you so much for governing it and building it to the point where it is today. And thank you so much for your time today and answering all of our questions.
Oh, you are really welcome, Shri. Good luck with your program. Thank you.